We got a show!
Welcome to the third episode of We've Got a Show here at the Fenton Village Players. My name is Shannon Emmons, and with me tonight I have Daniel Ragan. Daniel is the chairperson of the board of directors here at the Fenton Village Players, and he is also the producer of our current production of Stephen Sondheim's company. So it's a little different because you're the producer.
Mm-hmm.
So far I've interviewed directors. There's a different involvement altogether. You're not about the story of the show, you're about the technical aspects of the show. So kind of give me a little idea of what you've done or what your place is in the show and what you've been working on.
So I like to think of the producer as the person who kind of puts all the pieces on the table for the director to be able to kind of put the puzzle together. Mm-hmm. So getting all the props, the sets, all the volunteers and whatnot organized. So, and then also doing it whenever I produce a show, I always try to find something a little extra, something a little more engaging for the audience to be able to partake in. So for this one, since the show is set in New York, modern time New York, what we're doing kind of special for this show is we're having the Fenton Arts Council do a art gallery with us, collaborating on that. So the hour before the show and then also at intermission, we're going to have an art gallery on display in our activities hall, along with some charcuterie from the Cheese Lady, and then drinks, cocktails, wine, and all that, just to really get people into the kind of that, New York vibe atmosphere before they even walk into the stage.
The New York nightlife, where you're going from art exhibit to art exhibit and catching a show here and there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that. I've produced a few shows here too. I mean, we both have, but my thought is that one of our main things as producers, just kind of think about what the director needs before the director even knows they need it.
Yeah.
So there's so much pre-planning that goes into that, and organization's key for that. How have you been able to stay on top of what you're doing in regards to that?
Well, I have the memory of a goldfish. So I need to have, what I always have is a Google sheet that I share with the director weeks before we even start auditions of like, what do we need from costuming? What do we need from props? What does the set look like? All of that stuff. And then I've got our budget on there to see like when I'm buying stuff, where is it going on the budget? If I've got a to-do list of things I need to remember to do, I've got that kind of listed on there as well. So just trying to list everything out on there. Thankfully, my director, Mary Collins, is a producer's dream. So I really don't have to do too much thinking on that. I think it was 2 or 3 months before auditions, I had the entire scene breakdown of who's on stage when they're singing backstage, all of that, the costume breakdown, the scene breakdowns, everything. So I didn't even have to bugger about that. So it makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, I've become quite attached to spreadsheets for that type of thing. Just makes life a little bit easier. So you do the producer bit. You get to see the bits and pieces of the show during the weeks leading up to it. You were there for auditions. Mm-hmm. What could you tell me from your perspective about this cast?
It is a talent-packed cast. There's a bit of a sweet and sour bit with auditions when it comes to getting a lot of talent out. So we had a ton of people. We've got 15 people in the cast. We saw a bunch of familiar faces at auditions. We also saw a bunch of new faces as well. So of the 15, we've got 5 totally new people to the theater, which is awesome.
That's always great
in that cast. But it came down to like a lot of like tricky decisions on who to cast and what roles, who was going to be stronger and what. And of course, it leads to we have to tell people they can't get a role, which is both a pro and a con. We've got choices, but then we also have to deal with the consequences of those choices.
Yeah, and I know it's, even if this show's not the one that's going to be for them, it's just you want them to come back because of the talent, and you can see their want to be in a show, and you want that energy. So it's just, you always want to help encourage them to come back and be in something else that we have going on. Yeah, I get that. It's the part I dislike the most.
100%.
Yeah, it's the hardest part. So if you could tell our patrons what they will get from this show, what would you tell them?
I would say a new but familiar view on relationships, because that's what the whole show kind of centers on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Bobby kind of going through all of his married friends and seeing these little vignettes of what their married life is and seeing if it's really for him or not. Mm-hmm. So each of those vignettes kind of pulls out a different aspect of not just marriage, but just relationships in general mm-hmm. that we can see. And it's, you know, it's familiar in the aspect that we've all experienced those things, but seeing it on stage and presented in that fashion kind of brings a new light to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good one to add. I like that. So this theater, you've been board chairperson for many years.
This is 9.5.
9.5 years.
Yep.
We're going through a lot of transition right now. A lot mm-hmm. of things are changing. So on top of what you're doing for producing, you're also helping coordinate this huge undertaking at the theater itself. Do you want to give us like a little idea of what's going on behind the scenes? Literally behind the scenes.
Literally behind. Actually, really, it's literally
it's
in
like
front
right
of the scenes.
There.
Yes. Yeah, we did a whole. It was kind of a little bit of a snowball domino effect. We needed to revamp our audio system because mm-hmm. our speakers were kind of dying and barely hanging on. So we got a new audio system, but that meant we needed to get a bigger board. And the board that we have now was the size of our old tech booth. So that meant we needed to get a new tech booth. And then our old tech booth was tucked away in the corner. You couldn't see or hear anything from it. So we kind of revamped that, kind of redesigned a couple of things and moved the tech booth over, where we've got this new luxurious, nice, large tech booth directly centered in the room with all sorts of,
Yeah.
Wave high, Tammy. But with that, had to do a lot of reorganizing of all of the
everything.
I was gonna say junk. It's not all junk,
but it was good timing because we were able to go through and see what we really needed and what we didn't need. And our tech has advanced mm-hmm. as we've advanced as a theater. So it's nice to see the new, but sometimes it's hard to let go of the old, and you want to know exactly what, you're worried I might need that. So it's hard to make those decisions, but we've definitely had to work our way through that.
Yeah. One thing I like too about overall the audio tech renovation was it's still very much a community effort mm-hmm. on it, because not just us kind of volunteering for it, but the person kind of kickstarted all of it was one of our band members in Rock of Ages. Mm-hmm. He heard it. I was like, there's some things you could change. He kind of showed us how to use some of the equipment in the tech booth that we didn't even know what it did.
That helps. Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of helped teach us the ropes. He's an expert in all things audio, so taught us the ropes, was able to show us where to find the right equipment, all of that. So kind of getting that support has been great. Mm-hmm. And then having someone who knows what they're doing with it too, where you can sit anywhere in the room, and the pressure of the room with all the air molecules that he mapped out is the exact same from one corner to the other corner to the center, and all of that. It's great.
That's impressive. I would not have thought about air molecules.
Right. Yeah, me neither.
No. I do have to say, I think we've had the ability that with every show, I feel like we've attempted something new on stage, mm-hmm. and we've been able to look, and especially the ones of you that handle the technology for the theater have been able to say, I see what you're trying to do, and I'm going to match that with one more level of tech for it. And it's been wonderful to watch that. I am excited about the new entrance, just so many changes that are going on.
Even the replacement of the floor lights, they look so much better now.
The floor lights look fantastic. Yeah. They do. It's just, it's always entertaining how excited we get for even like the smallest change here. But
we can control it with the remote now.
I know it's got little buttons and everything. It's just I just want to do that during the show. So I mean, it's wonderful to see, and I think it's just great to see how as a theater, as a group, we're working so hard to support the changes in the shows, the new shows that we're bringing, the new cast that we're bringing, and that we're always trying to stay like one step ahead about what we need and what could be coming up. So I just really enjoy that energy here. I think there's, between volunteers and everyone that's involved, we have a lot of people that just work really hard to make the place better.
Yeah. Yeah. My goal with all things tech, and that's broadened to, even the set building, everything else, is like the the big goal that I would like to have is everything just turns into plug and play. Like if we need to do
Yeah.
whatever the director's vision is, we need to do that. Oh yeah, we've had that capability. We can flip this switch and plug this thing in here, and there it is.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Now, as a theater, we do take some things seriously, but we still also like to have some fun. Well, yeah, we do. I mean, we have to take some things seriously, but we usually do have we're pretty jovial when we do it. But just today the 2nd or the 1st? Today is the 1st. Today, if you went to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our TikTok page, we got to have a little fun.
We did.
So we did our 54th season announcement.
Season in quotation marks.
Is it our season? Isn't it our season? And you were able to be the person that did the video for that.
Yeah.
And I think the most entertaining one was the idea of doing a one-man show of Les Mis.
I think that was everyone's favorite from the comments.
Yep, that was very entertaining. So if you have a second, go on over to one of our socials and check that video out. It's very entertaining. It's just a fun play on previous shows and having a little fun with it in the April Fool's kind of way. So check that out. So thank you so much for joining me for tonight.
Of course, thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm sure we'll do this again.
Probably.
Yeah. What's the name of the podcast? Oh yeah, We Got a Show.